The opinions expressed by the host and guests in this show are not necessarily the views of Children's Health Defense.
Good morning, CHD. It is Monday, October the 13th, 2025, and I'm here with Mary Holland. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Polly. Good morning, everybody out there in CHD TV land.
That's right. Well, this is an important show because a lot of people have been either writing to us or just asking us, what is the history behind Children's Health Defense? So I thought perfect segment for today is we'll go back, Mary, and talk about how was Children's Health Defense even started?
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, Polly, I don't have all the exact dates at my fingertips, but it started with Eric Gladen, who was a man who essentially as a man in his 30s developed adult autism. He got a diphtheria tetanus pertussis shot after he'd gotten a deep puncture wound, and he was quite susceptible to the mercury. And he basically became very hypersensitive to sound, hypersensitive to touch. And he realized with time, oh my God, this is probably what's happening to children who regress into autism. So he formed the World Mercury Project as he did chelation and started to heal. And he started on a film called Trace Amounts. It's about trace amounts of thimerosal, the mercury-containing preservative that's used in tremendous numbers of vaccines. And he then invited Bobby Kennedy to be a part of the rollout of these movies, screenings around the country. So this is back in about 2015. I was teaching at New York University School of Law. I arranged to show the movie Trace Amounts, and Bobby Kennedy came, and many other doctors and scientists came, and we were talking about this. Then Eric decided to step down. Bobby Kennedy, about 2016, became the chairman of World Mercury Project, and then Bobby assembled a kind of new board. I was brought onto the board in 2018. Brian Hooker was already there. Lynn Redwood was already there. Barry Siegel, other people who had been involved in the health freedom movement. And we changed the name in 2018 to Children's Health Defense. J.B. Handley was also on the board at that time. Bobby, I think in particular, wanted it to be bigger, recognizing that it's not just vaccines, it's not just mercury. There are many toxic things in the environment that are harming children and that are causing this epidemic of chronic disease. So in 2018, the name was changed to Children's Health Defense. At that time, by 2018, so when Bobby Kennedy hired Lynn Redwood as the first employee of Children's Health Defense, and she did a kind of an assessment, what's going on in this area, what else is out there. She then brought on a few other people that she had been working with at Safe Minds, one of the very first organizations. So she brought on Laura Bono, she brought on Heidi Kidd, she brought on Rita Schreffler. And I came on as general counsel I came on the board in 2018. I came on as general counsel in 2019 in the fall, just in time for COVID. And by 2019, Rolf Hazelhurst was already on board, and we were already doing the Kennedy News and Views. We weren't yet in the defender space. And then really by 2019, we were already dealing with I had already been dealing since 2018 with the measles craziness in New York and in Brooklyn in particular. And I had already been engaging attorneys to help us fight the religious exemption repeal in New York and other lawsuits. Kim Mack-Rosenberg immediately helped us to try to get a carve out for students with essentially vaccine injury and disabilities, as it happened in California. We were not successful at that. But then really, Polly, I have to say that was 2019. And by early 2020, when COVID was hitting, CHD was just slammed because Bobby Kennedy was very active, and we were publicizing what we thought was very dangerous information coming out of the government, coming out of the pharmaceutical industry. And so by 2020, I believe by the fall, we started Defender. I'm forgetting which year you came on, Polly, but then that got us going with CHD TV. Then, oh gosh, Polly, I should have a timeline here. Brian came on somewhere around there, maybe 2022, to kickstart our science department. And so we've just been sort of growing and gathering momentum, I would say, until 2023, when Bobby informed us in February 2023 that he was going to run for president and that he needed a long runway to kind of convince people of some of the things he was talking about. And so he ran for president from 2023 all the way through to the election in 2024, November. And then he was nominated and he became confirmed as HHS secretary, I guess, in about February of this year. It was when he was confirmed, although he was nominated in November. So it's been a bumpy ride. It's never been dull. One of the other things that happened at CHD, I can't tell you I think 2021 is we started setting up a fellowship program. I was very concerned about the individuals in colleges and universities who were being thrown out because they wouldn't take the shots, the COVID shots. And that blossomed into a major program, a sort of a recruitment tool for us. And it turned out that it wasn't just students who wanted to come and apprentice and contribute to the health freedom movement. So we brought in a lot of talent. Many of those people have stayed. But we now work with what we call our 4 pillars: education, advocacy, litigation, science. And so over the last 5 years, all of those components have come into place, and we're continuing with the mission. And so exciting that right now, while we're recording this, Polly, things are happening at a speed that honestly, I'm not sure we ever imagined that they would in the past. So
I know, it's incredible. I have to say that working at Children's Health Defence is, as well as the travels I've done on the bus, the best education that you could ever have. You're always kept in. I mean, without this, I wouldn't be up to speed on everything that we're.
I try to stay up to speed. I don't even succeed in all the things that we're working on, Polly, but it's just an incredibly stimulating environment. It's also a really unique and frankly challenging. It's been challenging. We're fully remote. We don't at the moment have a fixed base. I'm hoping that may change over time, but we all have to work together without even being in the same room ever up until now. I recently talked to one of our wonderful staff members who told me that in 18 months of working for Children's Health Defense, she had never met in person a single other person who works for Children's Health Defense. That's challenging, right? Through email, through text, through phone, through Zoom, through Google Meet, through Signal, through Telegram. All of those are the ways in which we make this operation run. And it's, to me, still remarkable that we do as well as we do, because it is challenging.
It is, but also that is how we get what I regard as the best of the best to work with.
I totally agree with you. Because we are fully remote, we are able to recruit people not only nationally, but sometimes even internationally to fulfill specific tasks. And so we have a really dynamic group of people. We have an extraordinary group who work across all of the areas that we're involved in. In particular, we just have an incredible reporting staff and staff at Defender. We have an incredible staff at CHD TV. We have an incredible legal staff. We have an incredible science staff. We have an incredible infrastructure of finance. You can't run an organization like this and take money from the public without really good financial infrastructure, operations infrastructure, development infrastructure to help us raise money to do the work we do. So all of those things are a part of Children's Health Defense. And literally, when I came on board as a staff member, we were way under 10 people, and several of those people were part-time. I came on full-time, but I think I was probably one of maybe 5 people who were full-time. And that was 2019, Polly. So we've grown by leaps and bounds. Post-COVID, we contracted somewhat because during COVID, it was so unbelievable. We were just so overwhelmed. We grew as we needed to respond to the COVID situation, but we've contracted somewhat. We've suspended the fellowship program, although we could revivify it. We've really ramped up the work we do in electromagnetic radiation, understanding that that is a new area that is absolutely affecting all of us, but particularly children, and in many of the same ways as food additives, pesticides, vaccines, that you don't have effective information, you don't have effective informed consent. So we've really built that program, and I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of the work that we do. We're still fighting censorship, as you know, Polly. Even though it's less than it was at the height of COVID, we still are not back on Facebook. We're not on Instagram. We are pushed down in the Google SEO rankings, and that's frustrating for us because I do feel like we put out outstanding information both in Defender and CHD TV, but our reach has increased hugely, particularly in 2025. And we are getting third-party notices that reach hundreds of millions of people, which is gratifying because I feel like I want people to have choice, and if people want to take vaccines or eat, conventional produce or have Wi-Fi throughout their home, that's or whatever, that's entirely up to them. But I want people to have access to truthful information so that they know what the possible ramifications of their choices are.
Now let's talk about Bobby Kennedy for a second, because I think it's important that people understand. And also us, we are parents of children that are vaccine injured, and a great many of the staff also are as well. And he listens to that. So my question here is, first of all, how did you feel when someone you've been working with and working so hard with decided to run for president and then landed in this role? I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better role for him to be in. And also talk a bit about his character, Mary, because I think out there, some people are not understanding that this man is for real. He worked, led children.
Yeah. So I worked with Bobby Kennedy before Children's Health Defense. So back in 2011, I published a paper with 3 other parents of severely injured, vaccine injured children, all on the autism spectrum, Lou Conti, Bob Krakow, Lisa Colin. And we published an article about the vaccine injury compensation program and about how it proved that the government knows that vaccines cause autism back in 2011. And we published it in a journal of Pace Law School, where Bobby Kennedy was teaching at the time. So it was in that connection that I first met Bobby. And then I continued to work with him, sporadically. And also we were fighting to keep religious exemptions around the country at that time. And so Bobby and I would be invited at the same time to speak in the Oregon legislature or in the Washington legislature in California. And so we would kind of meet up with one another at these demonstrations, and Brian Hooker as well, and others. And Bobby came to New York when we were trying to fight adding the meningitis shot to the schedule in New York. And he went up and testified in Albany. I think that was 2018. So I knew Bobby, and I knew that, he's open about this, Polly. Thankfully, his children did not suffer severe, they didn't suffer catastrophic vaccine injury, but several of his children have very real allergies. They cannot be exposed to certain things, or they will experience anaphylaxis. So Bobby Kennedy was very attuned to peanut allergy and to other allergic conditions, and worked with a lot of people before he sort of saw the somewhat bigger picture of vaccine injury. But this is somebody who I got to know about 2010, maybe even 2009. And he's just an incredibly devoted person. He's an incredibly hardworking person. He's very intelligent. He takes in information and is able to retain it in a unique way. He's able to bring people together, which is a pretty unique skill. He's been able to bring people to this movement that I don't know that other people would have been able to bring. He's been able to unite people who on their own probably wouldn't come together, but in order to serve Bobby and to serve the cause that he's serving, they happily work together. He's genuinely a pretty extraordinary leader. He picks and chooses what he does. He doesn't do everything. He delegates well to let other people do the things he doesn't think he's best served to do, but he has focused on things that he does do well. You know, in some ways, Polly, we were very lucky that during COVID, Bobby really, you know, we set up Defender, we set up CHD TV, we started the science going, and he kind of pulled back in many ways to write. And The Real Anthony Fauci is a tremendous book. The Wuhan Cover-Up is a tremendous book, Letter to Liberals. He kind of pulled back to really focus on writing. And so in some ways, when he told us that he was going to run for president, it wasn't quite as shocking as it might otherwise have been. It was still worrisome, I'll be honest with you. I was still concerned. Oh my gosh, you know. And I actually left for 5 months to go help Bobby with the campaign initially. And so I think, you know, we were all concerned that CHD continued to survive and thrive. And I did decide that I wasn't adding as much value to the campaign as I thought I might add if I came back to CHD. So I came back to CHD after 5 months on the campaign. But I'm very happy to say that that I think the organization has stayed the course. We still have, you know, most of the same people on the staff and on the board that we had before Bobby went to run for president. I never in a million years, Polly, never in a million years saw that Bobby would endorse President Trump or that he would become the HHS secretary. But as you say, in some ways, it was an answer to our prayers, because that is the area where Bobby really does have unique expertise. He really understands the capture of federal health regulatory agencies. He really understands the issues around vaccines. So it's unique and incredible. And one of the great virtues for us is just that we know what's in Bobby's heart and what's in his mind largely. And so we can try to anticipate what may be happening within HHS, and we can try to kind of align ourselves with those goals. We're not cooperating or collaborating in any way that's improper, but we know what Bobby Kennedy wants, which is to end the epidemic of chronic childhood disease among children. And to do that, it is to do the things that he laid out in the Make America Healthy Again initial report and in the one that we just saw, which is stop the over-medication, give people good food, get people exercising again, make sure that you know, the toxic exposures are diminished. So it's an incredible time to be doing what we're doing, Polly, and I'm so grateful to you and to the whole team at CHD and to Bobby for moving on and for taking on this much bigger role where, despite all of the calumny, despite all of the incredible hostility that he has to bear, he is getting so much done, Polly. He's getting so much done.
He really is. And I don't think people understand that he can't just walk in as head of HHS and just say, right, get rid of the vaccines, get rid of this, get rid of that. It's not that simple. But I want to just end this, Mary, on our conference. We're just weeks away from the Children's Health Defense Conference in Austin, Texas. So November the 7th to the 9th. So if you can come, just talking about how we are a remote organization, it's going to be wonderful.
It's so great to be in person. And, you know, there are things that happen in person, Polly, that just can't happen remotely. And so bringing people together creates a different environment. It creates a different energy. Ideas happen, connections happen, excitement, inspiration happens in a completely different way. And we didn't do a conference last year, as you remember, because Bobby Kennedy was running for president and the security issues were so high and his schedule is so crazy. But this year, I just felt like it was so important for us to reconnect, to re-energize. And among the people who are going to be there are Leslie Manukian, Charles Eisenstein, Ben Edwards, Catherine Austin Fitz, Pierre Corey, Andy Wakefield, Peter McCullough, Suzanne Humphreys, Jessica Rose, Meryl Nass, and just announced Russell Brand, Rand Paul, Paul Thomas, Del Bigtree, Larry Plevsky. And I assure you there are more really, really big names coming. So it's going to be great. I can't wait to get there, Polly. I'm so excited to meet with our people, our community at CHD, our CHD family. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. And actually, for me, the most exciting part of all those people, wonderful, but the parents of Daisy, so the Mennonite community are going to be coming, some of them, and the parents of Daisy, who they consistently say died of measles, they're going to be there. The father particularly wants to meet you, and you can hear straight from his mouth what happened to Daisy. But I'm very excited that Daisy's parents and family are going to be there at our conference, along with Ben.
That's so important, Polly. Yeah, we did disrupt the measles narrative, not completely, but the idea that those two girls died from measles is just false. And it's criminal to lie about things like that. It really is. It's just wrong. We need, as Bobby Kennedy keeps saying, we need transparency. We need to be able to tell the truth. Yes, some people could die from the measles. That's possible. I'm not saying that's not possible, but that's not what those girls died from, and the parents know best.
Yeah, so we're excited to have a measles panel, if you like, there at the conference. Well, okay, time's up. Mary, thank you so much for being with us this morning. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. We're going to go to Mothers to Be segment now with Isabella. But thank you, Mary. Pray big, my friends. Stand firm, never settle, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks.
Good morning, CHD. My name is Isabella Yon. Welcome to our Mothers to Be segment, where we chat all things from preconception all the way through to postpartum and that first year of life. So excited to be joined today by the wonderful, wonderful Marcella Piper-Terry, who's such an expert in her field. And today we're going to be chatting about vitamin K. I know you guys have sent in so many questions, and it's really just something I think that has a lot of confusion among new mamas. So welcome, Marcella. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So for viewers who may not be familiar with your work, I know most people here probably are because you're so fantastic, but we do have some newer viewers. Would you mind just briefly introducing yourself and really what brought you into the world of like maternal and child health advocacy?
Well, my goal initially, many, many years ago, was to be a researcher at the CDC. I thought that's where the smartest people were, and I had a Master of Science degree in psychology. I took a dual track in clinical and experimental psychology. I love research, fell in love with it, and really was very interested in doing clinical research, and that's where I thought I was going to end up. And I was in a PhD program at George Washington University. I waited to go for the PhD program until my daughter started kindergarten, and she had serious reactions to the kindergarten shots and developed OCD and tics, and was later diagnosed on the spectrum. And so I had to leave the program in order to care for her. And so that kind of ended my goal of being at the CDC, but I was already a really good researcher. I had a full ride at George Washington University in Washington, D.C., and based on my research skills. And so I just turned my research into trying to figure out what happened to my daughter. And that led me down the rabbit hole, as they say, and I haven't stopped researching ever since. And I started researching and writing, and then became, I guess, an activist. Became very active in trying to help other parents make informed decisions, because the decisions that I made were not informed.
Yeah. Well, I know personally I have benefited from your amazing research, and so many other families have. So thank you so much. So vitamin K, we get questions about it all the time. Is it a vitamin? Is it not? Can we start off by explaining what vitamin K even is, and what role does vitamin K play in the human body? Why do we need it?
Well, vitamin K is very important in the human body. It helps to regulate cellular division. And cellular division and the way that it's regulated has to do with potential cancer if cellular division is not regulated tightly. It's also really important for clotting. It has to do with how the blood clots. And vitamin K is also super important in helping to bring calcium into the bones. We hear about vitamin D, being important for calcium regulation, but vitamin K is also very important. It's also really important for thyroid health. Vitamins A, D, and K are very important for thyroid health. So those things, and when you get calcium out of balance and extracellular calcium, that has a lot to do with all kinds of issues that we can develop, because calcium and the regulation of calcium is very important for the ion channels in the body, and that affects everything. So it really is a very important vitamin.
Vitamin K is currently given to newborn babies. Is this correct? First day of life?
It started back in the mid-1900s when women were being knocked out during pregnancy or during delivery. They would put them under, and so they couldn't push. And so babies they were basically pulled out of the uterus with forceps and with suction. And babies were being there, obviously that has a negative effect on the brain, on the head and the skull and the brain. And so they were developing this vitamin K deficiency bleeding as a result of the trauma that they were experiencing during delivery. So they did some studies, and they found out that babies were born with about 50% less vitamin K in their systems than adults. And they decided that this was a design flaw. And so they started giving babies oral vitamin K, the drops, oral drops. And then in the 1970s, so the dosage on the oral drops was really high, and they were getting a lot of problems from that. So they switched over to the injectable form in the 1970s. And they basically have been giving the injectable form to babies since the 1970s, pretty much every baby that's born in the United States, unless the parents are aware and refuse. So the problem is that there's a reason. It's not a design flaw. There's a reason why vitamin K is low in the newborn. The babies, when they're delivered, prior to delivery, if they're going through the vaginal birth canal, all babies prior to delivery, their guts are sterile. And so they don't have the good probiotics, the good beneficial bacteria that they get from going through the birth canal. When they pass through the birth canal, their guts are colonized with the good gut bacteria that helps their microbiome. And that good gut bacteria helps to produce vitamin K, and it increases slowly from birth up until day 8. And that is supposed to be that way. It's supposed to happen that way. And the reason is, like I said before, about how vitamin K really regulates, it's very tightly, the range for vitamin K has to be very tightly regulated in the body, or it does disrupt that cellular division. So there were problems associated with this that were recognized, and some concerns about the injectable vitamin K leading to leukemia, increased rates of leukemia. And for that reason, there are several countries that stopped giving the injectable version of vitamin K, and they went back to the drops. The United States is not one of those countries. They continue to promote and utilize solely the injectable form of vitamin K. So that's how it started.
Yeah, wow. Thank you for that back information. I believe that God doesn't make mistakes. And so that's really fascinating, just the spiral effect of how far, that's come and how common it is now. So let's touch a little bit more on the injection. What is in this injection? Are there any concerns that parents should be aware of before they just give this to their child?
So in the United States, there are 2 forms of vitamin K injection. The first one is Hospira, and Hospira it carries a black box warning, which is they both do carry a black box warning, which is the strongest warning that the FDA issues regarding any kind of medical device or medication or injectable substance. So they do have black box warning because of problems, particularly with Hospira. It has 9 milligrams of benzyl alcohol, and that benzyl alcohol damages the liver. It is a contributing factor to the onset of jaundice in babies after a couple of days following birth. It contributes to something called gasping syndrome, which, because of alcohol is a central nervous system depressant. And especially in preterm low birth weight babies, they can develop this gasping syndrome because of the depression of their respiration from the alcohol. So because of those issues, most hospitals in the United States now use Amphastar. And Amphastar is in a pink box. The second ingredient is 10 milligrams of polysorbate 80. It doesn't have any benzyl alcohol. It doesn't have any preservatives in it. So the benzyl alcohol was used as a preservative. So a lot of people will talk to their doctor about that, and the doctors will say, well, we have a form that doesn't have a preservative. It's preservative free, but that doesn't mean it's safe. The second ingredient is polysorbate 80, and there's 10 milligrams of it. Polysorbate 80 is used in research studies, in cancer research, particularly for brain cancer drugs, because they can pair it with the drug. And because polysorbate 80 opens up the blood-brain barrier, then it helps the drug get into the brain. It does the same thing when you give it to babies. It opens up the blood-brain barrier, and newborn babies already have an impermeable blood-brain barrier. I mean, their blood-brain barrier is not yet permeable, I should say. So when you give polysorbate 80, 10 milligrams of it, it will open up the blood-brain barrier. And then right after that, they come along and they give the hepatitis B vaccine with 250 micrograms of aluminum. And the aluminum has access to the brain immediately because of the polysorbate 80 in the vitamin K shot. I do want to say that a lot of people think that that the vitamin K shot has a lot of aluminum in it. It doesn't. Neither one of the forms that are given in the United States have high amounts of aluminum. The Hospira vial says on it, it says no more than 100 micrograms per liter of aluminum in that shot. So the shot itself is 0.5 milliliters. So that's 1/2 of a milliliter. There are 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter. So you would have to inject 2.5 liters of the vitamin K shot to get the same amount of aluminum that's in the hepatitis B vaccine. Aluminum is not the problem in the vitamin K shot. It's the polysorbate 80. Polysorbate 80, so just another issue with polysorbate 80. In 2016, the American Academy of Pediatricians, one of the pediatric associations, they issued a statement of concern about Gardasil, because the Gardasil injections at that time contained 50 micrograms of polysorbate 80. And there is concern about polysorbate 80 causing premature ovarian failure. It's used in clinical studies to induce infertility. So when you inject the vitamin K shot, the Amphastar has 10 milligrams. So they were concerned about 50 micrograms of polysorbate 80. 10 milligrams is 200 times the amount of 50 micrograms. So that raises the question, is the vitamin K shot a factor in the infertility problems that we're having in young people today?
Wow. That's crazy to me. Oh my gosh. So much there. Thank you so much for breaking that down. That's wild. So for parents who quite rightly are perhaps concerned about taking, the vitamin K shot for their kids, are there any safe and effective alternatives to consider? A lot of people mention and bring up oral vitamin K. Where are we at with this? Or is it best just to leave these babies alone?
Well, so first of all, let's just talk about the concern with vitamin K and why they give it is for vitamin K deficiency bleeding, and that affects just over 5 out of 100,000 babies per year. So that breaks down to 1 in 20,000, and it's much more likely to affect preemies low birth weight babies. It's also much more likely to affect babies who are born to mothers who have epilepsy or seizure disorders and who are taking anti-seizure medications. Vitamin K deficiency bleeding generally happens because the liver is taxed and that's not known prior. So not vitamin K deficiency bleeding. Yes, that vitamin K deficiency bleeding. It affects babies whose livers are damaged. So you have to kind of weigh, is my baby really at risk? Am I taking anti-seizure medications? That would elevate the risk. If you're not, and if your baby is full term and born vaginally, there's really very little risk of vitamin K deficiency bleeding. There are some studies for those who have concerns about that, ways you can naturally raise vitamin K if you're breastfeeding. Oh, that's the other thing, is this generally affects breastfed babies because formula is supplemented with very high amounts of vitamin K, unnaturally high amounts, which, breast is always best. So if you are breastfeeding, then one way that you can help your baby get vitamin K after birth is by eating a lot of dark green leafy vegetables, because vitamin K is high in things like spinach and kale and dark greens. So that's a good way to get some vitamin K. And it does go through the breast milk. It does not cross the placenta. There have been studies done particularly in the Netherlands and in Denmark. There are 2 studies that I have linked in my article on Substack, and people can go there and check that out. And they had the protocols there that are used in Denmark and in the Netherlands for oral supplementation of vitamin K. And what they found in their studies was that supplementing at birth with 2 drops of vitamin K, or 2 milligrams, 2 milligrams. If it's 1 milligram per drop, it would be 2 milligrams or 2 drops. So you supplement with 2 drops of vitamin K at birth, and then 1 milligram per week after that for the first 3 months. And they found no difference between the vitamin K deficiency bleeding outcomes in those babies who got 2 milligrams at birth and 1 milligram per week for 3 months. No difference between those babies and the babies who were getting the injected vitamin K. So that seems to be a pretty good protocol if one is concerned about that.
Well, thank you for sharing. So there's, I think, a little bit of confusion about rights. Are parents always allowed to say no to the vitamin K? Are hospitals respecting these decisions? Do we as parents have the right to say no? I think people are worried about CPS and things like that, or if they're even allowed to say no. Is it legal? That's some of the kind of questions that are coming through.
Those are good questions. And the answer to that is it depends on where you live. There are some states where if you have a hospital birth, you are not allowed to refuse the vitamin K, and you may be at risk of having CPS called. I think New York is one of those states. Wouldn't surprise me if California is one of those states. I don't really know. I don't know the answer to that on a more deep level. But it does definitely depend on where you're delivering. It's essential to have a birth plan, which I'm sure you discuss on your show. If you can have a home birth, that is absolutely what I would do. Knowing what I know now, would be a home birth for sure. I would also, there's so many things that go along with this, and delayed cord clamping is a very important part of this too. Part of the reason why babies have problems with bleeding, if they have even without a traumatic birth, just the process of going through the birth canal is, it's very difficult on the brain, on the head, because you kind of get squished for a while. And so what another contributing factor to these bleeding issues is that the umbilical cord is being cut immediately after birth. And it used to be that they would let it, leave the cord attached for 5 to 10 minutes. But everything got busy, and doctors have schedules, and, it's not about the baby, it's about get in, get out, get done. So that process of immediate cord clamping robs the baby of 40% of their own blood. And in that blood is their stem cells. And those stem cells are there for a reason. They go throughout the body to heal any damage from any trauma that has occurred during the birth. So when they cut that cord immediately and they take away those stem cells, they're robbing the baby of what the baby needs to heal. And there's a reason for that, because those stem cells are very valuable. They are sold for many, 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 many thousands of dollars. So it's really important to do delayed cord clamping, leave the cord attached until it stops pulsating and turns white. And that way you make sure that the baby gets all of their stem cells that belong to them, so that their body can do what it was meant to do naturally.
Absolutely, 1,000% agree. And I know you briefly mentioned birth plan, so I just wanted to say, for anyone listening, on our Mothers to Be website, we do have a free downloadable birth plan that you can amend that includes the importance of delayed cord clamping and also vitamin K. So please check that out if you need any resources. It's of course free, and just like Marcella said, a birth plan is so crucial if you are giving birth in a hospital. Marcella, this has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Where can people learn more about vitamin K, and also where can people follow you for more great information on vitamin K and all the things?
Well, I have a Substack. I've been incredibly busy the last few months with clinical work, and actually back doing clinical research and loving it. So I haven't contributed a whole lot to the Substack recently, but if you go to Marcella Piper-Terry on Substack and you can just Google it, or, whatever search engine you're using, put in Marcella Piper-Terry Substack vitamin K, and you'll find my article on vitamin K and delayed cord clamping. And there are many links in that article where you can click for more information, and you can look at the oral protocols if that's something that you're interested in. But there's a lot of information there.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have any more questions, feel free to email us, but definitely check out Marcella's Substack for all of this amazing information. Thanks so much.
My name is Maria O'Neill.
Who are you?
I'm a Kyle Ronald O'Neill,
And how old are you?
8.
Wow.
A few days ago, it was my birthday,
You just look at Polly and tell her.
and Mom took me about 3 or 2 years to recover me when I was vaccinated. It was a really long time, about 3 or 2 years.
It was about 3 years it took me to recover you from your vaccine
Yeah.
injury. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad
Thanks, Mom.
you're doing real good. You look great. You sound great.
Thanks.
Show her all your big teeth, your new teeth.
Let
Those
me
8-year-old
see
big
that.
teeth. Oh, and we got a loose one.
See?
It won't be wobbly.
Which one's loose?
This one, I like cutting it.
It's fun.
You love it.
Yes, I know. But you've got the point, Johnny.
But many people know me as Spartan. It's my nickname through Team TMR, and I do a lot of writing. I do a lot of writing not under my name due to threats, because I'm very vocal. After my son's vaccine injury, I promised myself that if I could get him through it, I would dedicate the rest of my life to make sure that it doesn't happen to other people's children.
Thank you. And thank you, Team TMR. We
No
love
problem.
Thinking Mums Revolution. And
Problem.
thank you for all the work you do. So
No problem.
let's have a chat about what
Yep.
happened to you. So to go right back.
Ask me anything. I'm an open
Well,
book.
so how many children have you got?
I have two sons.
Cash, who is 4, and me, who's 8.
So you're the big brother.
Yes.
Okay, so
It's
how
fun.
were you, what was your mindset on vaccinations as soon as you got pregnant?
I was fully on board. I worked in a medical office. I worked in radiology and urgent care.
So you've got a medical degree?
Yeah, sure do.
Did
Sure
you
do.
yourself,
10 years experience of
Did you
working in medicine.
yourself administer vaccines?
I did, especially after injuries, cuts, tetanus shots. That was a big thing in urgent cares, you give a tetanus shot, you don't want to get sick. So yeah, not a lot. My basis was radiology. So a lot of what I did was x-ray oriented, but I worked 3 jobs at one time. So, I mean, yeah, I would give them if somebody cut their finger or slit their head open, or this is just normal procedure. I never question it. Never.
No reason to go. But when
Never.
you were training and you're doing a medical degree,
Yeah.
what was the training you had on vaccines?
How to get parents to give them to their children. I was never shown a vaccine insert. I never read one myself. When I was pregnant with Connor, I am Rh negative. I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with that. So they suggest that you get the Rogam vaccine.
They actually petrify the parents that their child will die if they
Absolutely.
don't.
I was basically told by the OB that I went to, who I knew them all, and I valued all of them too. That, oh, Maria, yes, you must, and it must be on time, that Rogam. You have Connor, you don't have that Rogam, he's gonna die. Like, basically, that's what he, and the crazy thing is like, looking back, his vaccine injury started then, because Rogam is full of mercury. And they were busy that day apparently, and they never documented it in his chart. So my next office visit, they were like, Maria, we'll give you another one. It's harmless. So I was like double Rogam, like double of what you should usually get for Rogam.
That's
Yep.
horrific.
And because I trusted.
Medical negligence we're hearing. is
Absolutely.
unreal.
And I mean, and I put my full faith in these doctors. These are people that I knew and I trusted, and they worked with me. You know, they would refer their patients to the x-ray facility that I worked at, and I trusted them.
Dr. Bob and so. Bob,
saved you, though?
Bob, Steve, everybody.
They saved you, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Bob saved you. So I had that, and not only that, I had the flu shot because I didn't want to get the flu.
She had 2 Rogams. The
Flu shot and whooping cough. My mindset back then was like, oh, give me all you have. I don't want these diseased people to make
So
me
you
sick.
genuinely
Believed in it.
Believed wholeheartedly
Oh, yeah.
the vaccines were 100% safe.
Absolutely. And the thing is, what's crazy is, so then when he was 6 months old, you know, my husband's military, and we were going overseas to Japan. And I to this day, you know, I do regret saying this, but, you know, I didn't know any better. I laid Connor down. He was about 6 months old. And I said, please, we were doing the overseas package. You know, our children have to get everything to go overseas. This is what they tell us. And I said, please give him everything that you have.
To protect him.
Because I don't want him getting sick over there. When I know in reality now that Japan's vaccine schedule is not even half of what it is in the United States. And and I think I got another flu shot for him at 6 months old.
Flu shots are just like flu shots and vaccine shots are just like the killers of our lives.
He was always having vaccine reactions, and this is what I want mothers to know, is that he was having from the time that I had him, he was having vaccine reactions. So I'm in the hospital, and he had Hep B, hepatitis B.
At first day.
Oh yeah, hours. He was beautiful, and you know, I haven't touched his baby book since his vaccine injury. I actually went in my garage today, and I went and I got it.
Bring it on, Mama.
Yeah, it was hard. Oh, this is what vaccine injury. This isn't even half of it. This isn't even like what some parents that I help have much more than this. Okay, but this is Connor's. This was like where his IEP was and everything. Okay, this was his toddlerhood that was robbed from him. And then this is his baby book. And so this is how this is my husband.
Let me see.
This is my Tyler. He looks, I don't know where we were. We were out dancing. So this was in the early days of this paisley shirt.
Before we knew what was ahead.
Before we knew it was ahead. Is that Daddy?
Yes.
Yeah. So it was hard. It was serious. This is Connor. And you know, when I look at some of these, like, you know, he was starting to get the roomy cheeks.
Yeah.
And I was told it was normal. Yeah, with hepatitis B though, and I didn't learn this until when I started like recovering him, was he lost his ability to nurse. He couldn't nurse anymore. I couldn't breastfeed him anymore, and he got very jaundiced. But, you know, the nurse was in there and she said, Marie, it's normal. A lot of babies get jaundice. And I was like, okay. Didn't even think about it. I'm giving him Tylenol. I mean, I did everything like by the book that most of you parents are doing. And I understand that because, like, unless something like what happened to Connor happens to you, you're not gonna question it. And I understand that. But I want to tell you to question it. Because, so yeah. Oh, here's your baby bracelet. You wanna hold that? What is this? Labor and delivery. This is when I was having him. So this was in 2009, February 1st, 2009. We were living in North Carolina. And I was very meticulous. I wanted to bring this because, like, I was very, very meticulous, like most parents, about my my child.
Actually,
What?
I think it still fits on me.
Mine.
Oh, sweet.
I was very meticulous about my child's my baby book and vaccines and everything. What kind of stroller I was getting, what kind of crib I was getting. I wish I would have spent that time reading vaccine inserts. So if there's like any advice that I could give anybody, that would be it. I literally have not touched this in years. So I was very meticulous. I mean, we were like,
Mummy's family tree, Daddy's family, everything. All
oh
written out.
yeah, this is him in Japan before the final insults to his body. So go ahead.
Actually, way back then in San Diego, I actually had like another picture where we knew that big
Yeah.
pineapple dude. I was a little bit more older then.
Yeah. But that was Okinawa. So, I mean, I was meticulous. I mean, it's insane when I look back at it. You know, I mean, the hearing test.
Do
Here
you
he
know
is.
how many vaccines he had?
Oh my gosh!
Like,
Look,
until he was finally damaged.
look at
beyond
this.
belief.
Do you look at this? Please, parents. This isn't even half of them.
I'll do it first, and you can have
Yeah, this wasn't even like all of it, because I mean I have it on military, but when we went to Okinawa. So when he was in Okinawa, he was about like 9 months old. So that's not even what he had in the military, like on the military base. Okay.
I just
What?
got this from him.
Oh yeah, it's okay.
It fell out of your thing.
That's a challenge coin from when your dad was in Iraq.
No.
Yeah, they give it. That's how they like money
Yeah.
on base. Yeah, to buy drinks or whatever. So that's not even like half of it. So I mean, here he is when he was born. He's like, absolutely.
I mean, considering you'd had a shed load of vaccines. while
Look
you were
at,
pregnant.
but look at the jaundice though. Okay, so this is like.
I mean, you're lucky he's alive.
Yes, because you know what? Not only did he have like what the routine schedule is, he had Japanese encephalitis. Okay, because like I was terrified that my child was gonna die from some disease. So like, give me everything, please. I laid him down and I said, please give him everything you have. Okay, was my mindset back then. So I want parents to understand that I was a completely different person. And so here we go. So this is like what got me this morning. What got me good is like, so in the baby book, this is how, like when I look at it, like how indoctrinated they make parents. They even put the vaccine documentation in the baby book. Like, why does that even have to be in here? To prove something? That your child's healthier than someone else's child? But I was so meticulous. And then and it asks for reactions. I mean, I thought that didn't happen. I thought vaccine reactions don't happen. Those don't happen. They're perfectly safe. Then why is it in a baby book? Like, answer me that. And what's crazy is I'm writing with the reactions: none, normal fever. None, some, small fever. None, rash, redness. And so I'm being told it's all normal. So like with each round, he was having a reaction, but I was being told by my pediatrician at the time that this was all completely normal. And I have pictures in my phone. I mean, like, there's one point where his face is so that he's like, his face is slanted, you know?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that at the time. And they used to be like, oh, look how cute. He's making that little side face. I'm like, and my kids being like that. Look, this is Connor before we went to Japan. This was his baptism. That's you.
Actually, can you show them a picture, like of me before and after?
Yes, I can do that. I can do that. So, you know, I mean, but then it's like we were going to Japan, right? And I'm PCSing all alone. That's a military move. So it kind of got forgotten because I was so busy. My husband was here in I mean, there's nothing in here. I think actually at one point I was so upset because his final insult and final vaccine injury was at 15 months. So he had the MMR. Oh my gosh. Like a booster of pneumococcal. I mean, whatever. Japanese encephalitis. So this was I'm so angry. Like they really, when they hurt my son, they really got themselves involved with the wrong woman. Because I don't care who you are, like you are not going to tell me that my beautiful child was not vaccine injured. I am not a fool. I am a mom. I worked in the medical field. No, absolutely not. He was a little nervous. He got a little emotional last night, right? You can tell Polly what happened. You cried a little bit.
Yeah.
Why?
We
Tell
all
her.
cry. It's okay,
Tell
we
her.
all cry.
What? About what?
Do you remember though?
About what?
Because you were talking about kids who were vaccine injured.
Yes.
And tell her.
I felt a little sad about it.
Yeah.
About other children.
Yes, I just feel a little sad about it.
And that's
It is
okay.
sad.
I know.
But look, like you can tell them what did it feel like? How did you feel? I want
Felt
people
bad.
to hear it.
I felt bad. I can't believe more than 100 billion kids are vaccinated, and we're the only people that can stop it.
That's right.
Adults are the only people that can stop it, even if a person says that, oh, vaccination is normal. No, that's not true. It's not true. Vaccines are life killers.
So what happened? What did it make you feel like?
It made me feel really bad.
So it's okay because look, we're going to talk about the positive now.
Okay.
So when I was recovering him, this is how I knew, is because he said to me, Mom, remember when we were like at the final end of recovery. So this was like 3 years later, and we were doing hyperbaric oxygen therapy because my son had encephalopathy,
Which means,
brain swelling,
thank you.
as documented. And he said, I used to feel so sick. But what? Do you remember?
I'm getting this a lot.
Oh, it's been a long time.
It's been a long time. I used to feel so sick, but I could hear you. You told me you would make me better. Because that's what I would tell him when he was banging his head and pressing his gut against furniture and stuff like that. So at 15 months, I took him. He had, oh my gosh, it was like Japanese encephalitis, MMR, pneumococcal, I think a Hep A. I mean, I wanted it all. Give me all the vaccines. I couldn't put him down.
I'm not surprised.
Couldn't put him down. And here's the thing is like, you know, he was like everybody else's little boy. You know, the new normal, the rashes, the ear infections, the this is the new normal that the pediatricians are telling you, parents. And I'm going to tell you that's not normal, okay? It's not.
100% on that.
Right, 100% on that. It's not normal because my 4-year-old son is completely unvaccinated and he's never had an antibiotic. He's never been sick. I think he had like an upper respiratory infection at 3 months, but he got through it within 2 days. None of what other kids are dealing with.
That's the key. So unvaccinated
Yes.
child,
Yes.
healthy, but when they do get sick
Oh,
And,
with mild childhood diseases,
and while recovering me, when she was done, I had effects like I couldn't eat most food because there's still little vaccines inside me. Like how it affect me, like what I eat makes me crazy.
mm-hmm.
So I eat I eat a diet and I had to like not eat lots of high phenols like apples.
Because there's phenol in vaccines, people. And that affected him. So, you know, so at 50, like, he lost everything. And I'm in Japan, and the crazy thing is that...
I wanted apples to be my favorite food, but actually I was vaccinated, so I couldn't eat them. So
for a while.
So I did pears only.
Right. So, thank you. If you ever want to do the SCD diet, he'll consult with you.
A lot of people asking about how you recovered him, and maybe there's a site that...
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you pull up Trace Amounts, his story is on Trace Amounts. If you pull up Trace Amounts, Maria O'Neill, it'll pull up Connor's story.
And does that document how you recovered him?
How I recovered him was really extensive.
Is there anywhere that people can go and see? Have you written that up anywhere?
You know, people ask me all the time. You know, I had to kind of recover myself after I recovered him, so that'll come. I promise you guys, like, that will come. I kind of do it on a person by person basis, because the thing is I'll tell you the first step in his recovery. So the Japanese people that surrounded me. So he had the 15-month shots. I mean, and he went from, like, somewhat being normal, talking, pointing, laughing, smiling. He was the cute blonde baby in Japan. To, like, flapping his hands.
And actually...
I mean, you said he nearly died.
He nearly died.
Actually, in his photo, it's like I was pretending I was driving when I was a baby.
Yeah. Imaginary play. But anyway, so let me finish that, okay? So, essentially, he was, like, not functional. Like, he would not let me put his feet down on the ground. He screamed. That's what he did. He screamed. And he had a blank stare. And he would arch his back. He would, like, constantly, you would hold him, and he would constantly, like, arch his neck. And my Japanese friends would be like, Maria-san, like, what happened? Did he get in and, like, get his vaccine? They're like, you have to bring him to the doctor. You have to bring the doctor. And so what happened is... I used to work in New York, too, and, you know, Dr. Kenneth Bach is there. He helps people recover their children.
Another great doctor.
Another amazing, amazing physician. He was a colleague of the radiologist I worked for, Dr. David Ryan. He has passed. God rest his soul, because if I had never met Dave and worked in that radiology facility, I don't think I would have known the things I would have known after Connor's vaccine injury.
And Alan Freestone.
Alan Freestone has homeopathy in the UK.
And it wouldn't be also for Justin Timberlake.
Oh, yeah.
What did you just say?
Justin Timberlake. I went to Navy medicine on base, Navy medicine. And this was like the top developmental specialist in the Pacific. And he looked at me and he said, you know, Mrs. O'Neill, your son was just born like this. And in my Italian New York self was like, yeah, you're out of your mind. He was just born this way. And my husband's watching me and he's like, I'm fiery. He's a Marine, but I'm fiery. Like, you don't mess with my children. You don't mess with the people I love. Like, you are lying. And he said, but just get him some good therapy, some ABA therapy. And I'm not bashing it, okay, people? I'm not. Like, everybody treats this differently because, you know, he was diagnosed with severe autism by 2.
Did he ever lose his speech?
All of it.
All of it.
He lost all of his speech. I mean, you can kind of, like, if you look at the back of his head, sit up, honey. So, when he was little, you guys saw his baby picture, his head was, like, completely proportionate, okay? And so his head, I mean, you can see the bump, like, it just kept getting bigger and bigger with each round of vaccines, and I was told that it's normal because boys have bigger heads. Only did I know that this was not normal until his doctor who helped me recover him, we went through his medical chart and, like, we were just looking at, like, his head growth, and it was insane. Like, a baby's head should not keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger like it was. So I have to thank my Japanese friends because they were like, Maria-san, like, this is not autism. Your child's not autism. Connor's son's not autism. And I was like, I understand. And they were like, well, we need to, like, start detoxing him. You know, Japanese people are into health. Green tea, we would go put him in the mineral pools, the onsen. So thank you, my Japanese friends, because you were integral to, like, helping my son when he was first vaccine injured detox those effects from his body. So thank you. Fish oil, my CrossFit coach. Okay, it's not my physician who's telling me. It's my gym coach telling me to take gluten and dairy out of my kid's diet and give him fish oil until we could get back to the United States to get him proper care. So, he was diagnosed by 2, severe nonverbal what?
Autism.
Yeah, and what are you now? Just what?
I'm not vaccinated. I don't have any autism. I don't have any autism. No vaccines. I'm just normal now. I just wish all these people weren't vaccinated in the first place.
It's okay. And it's okay to feel emotional, okay?
Okay.
Because we went through a lot. It's okay, Connor.
Okay.
Okay? That's why we're doing this.
Okay.
Okay? Okay?
Okay.
It's all right, bud.
Okay. I just wish vaccines didn't exist in the first place.
Oh, don't worry. It'll change. It'll change. I'll make sure it changes.
Okay. I just hope our life is completely normal because I want every kid to be unvaccinated and with no autism. Not even a drop, not even a gram, not even this much.
Okay. So let me tell them how I made you better a little
Okay.
bit. So we did a tour conversion. I had to fight to get off of Japan. Okay. I was now pregnant with my second son. And my husband, they were like, yeah, absolutely. We'll do a tour conversion. You can go to San Diego. Because a lot of my friends were like, get to San Diego, go see Bob Sears. And so...
What a good doctor.
Yeah, he saved my son's life. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you so much. Robert
Love you,
Sears saved my son's life. And helped me save my son's life. And so we come... we're doing a military move. I'm pregnant. I'm 15 weeks pregnant. And my husband immediately has to go to work. I did not unpack my house. I took my son to Sears. And we did just full blood work. Yeah. Full blood work. I mean, this is what my son's toddlerhood looked like. Okay. So it went from baby books and Jolly to labs. And you can look at some of the things that are on here: zinc level, lead level, HHV6. He had no immune system. My child really had no immune system. It was really, really bad. Stool analysis because his gut was so destroyed. Thank you, Dr. Wakefield.
Good doctor.
Thank you. Thank you. You saved this child's life with your work. There's no denying that. This was his childhood. Look at this. This is.
Not to mention the expense of everything.
Oh, this is thousands and thousands of dollars. Everything that I earned, my little Coach bags, and I used to go to Ann Taylor and drop $500. And
I feel bad. I mean, listen, we did all that, and we didn't get the recovery that you've got. So
sold my car.
There's to the parents out there that have tried so hard with the same thing.
Yes.
There's no rhyme or reason to why some recover.
No, and I think, in all of this, this is the hardest thing. For me, it's not guilt, but I'm angry. I'm grateful, but I'm angry. My child is gonna live I fully believe that he's gonna go to college and you're gonna get married.
Yes.
And have kids of your own.
Yes.
Are you gonna vaccinate your kids?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't worry, there won't be any vaccines.
There won't be vaccines then.
By the time
if we have anything to do with it.
That'd be about
an RFK, thank you.
Maybe about 20 years, and then I would become an adult. 20 years, which is a long time.
Yeah. So the thing is that's the hardest thing for me. So I do spend a lot of my time talking to other parents. I mean, I've had parents, they see Connor's story and they contact me from all over the world. Singapore, all over the world because they're desperate.
Can I just say to the troll who's saying that you're right, I can't block you. I've tried to block you 5 times.
Who?
There's a troll in here, but I just literally can't block him.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just say, when you say parents who don't vaccinate their children are bad parents, we did vaccinate our children.
Look,
we
look,
did.
Please
we
look
did.
at me. I laid my child down and I said, please give him every vaccine you've got. So please, okay? Be respectful. Go do something productive. My husband's military, and he selflessly gives up his freedom so people are supposed to have their medical freedom. I'm feisty like you, Polly.
Say it the way it is.
I say it how it is. But yeah, so, I mean, ask me, whatever. I mean, it took me 3 years, you know.
I think the most
What's
I
important?
think what you've got to do is you've got to either go live on Facebook and start talking about how you recovered. You're going to have to set something up.
I know.
I
will.
People need to know how to do what you're doing.
And I want to tell parents too, you know, it's like we talk about recovery and we talk about, no, will every child recover? No. Can you make their quality of life better? Absolutely. Is there a window for healing in this life? Absolutely not. I met a woman in the grocery store yesterday. I talked to everybody in the grocery store, and she has a 45-year-old son who lives with her with schizophrenia. Oddly enough, she was telling me that they've been taking him to like a natural doctor and detoxing him of heavy metals, and he doesn't really hear a lot of voices lately. Interesting. And it's not just autism, people. Okay, this is what I want to tell you. It's not just autism. I mean, it's almost autism. Eczema, rashes, chronic ear infections, constipation. Oh my gosh, the gamut. I mean, it's just manifesting as other ways. So I promise you, I recently just got accepted to a program where I will be a HHP, you know, holistic healthcare practitioner, but it's going to take me years. But it's like I had to recover my son and take care of my second son and like replenish myself, because the mothers, I mean, moms, I understand. And I was very fortunate. I didn't have to face it as long as a lot of other moms and dads have to. I've seen like families destroyed by this.
After everything you've been through, what would you like to say to the people?
What would I like to say? What I just want to say is thanks. I just want everyone to be unvaccinated. I want the whole world, not even one little baby, to be vaccinated. I don't want anyone to be vaccinated, no matter what. That's what I want to say. I just want
because you don't want them to be what? Sick?
Yes, I don't want, and some of them even died from this.
I know, and you don't want them to what, like go through what you went through, right?
Yes.
It's okay, Connor. He knows. I mean, he knows what happened to him, so.
Well, listen, thank you so much.
No,
Your story is so
Polly.
inspiring.
Thank you, Polly.
No, thank you.
And thank you for your love note, which we pinned up on the...
Yeah, that's from British Soccer
Over
Camp. He does British Soccer Camp.
No, that's not British soccer. That's the first
Oh,
one.
excuse me.
Oh, you play
I stand
soccer?
I
corrected.
do two. I have two camps. One and then a British one.
Do you support a British soccer team?
Well, I mostly play England. And first off, the first time I played, my team was England, and then the second time, one of the girls on my team wanted to be England.
So here's the thing: is like what people don't realize too is that
maybe today, now I can be Japan.
maybe this is what people don't realize is when I drop him off to the soccer field, because I drop him off and I leave him alone at soccer camp. And these mothers look at me and they're like, oh, just another soccer mom. And a lot of them don't have like any idea what I went through to get him to that point. So I promise you, like in ending my, like what I have to say here, I promise you, my life is dedicated to this. I don't want anyone's children to suffer like my son did. Okay, so I can assure you that. I promise. It's just gonna take me time.
Okay, everybody loves you.
Bye. Can you say bye?
Bye.
All right, I'm coming on Periscope. We're back on with the...
History doesn't wait. This is our moment to rise, unite, and reclaim our children's health.
Join us here in Austin, Texas this November at the Children's Health Defense Conference.
In the wake of unprecedented medical overreach and censorship, the world is waking up, and people like you are leading the way.
We're at a turning point in history. With the pandemic behind us, our fight for freedom and health has reached the global stage.
This is our moment of truth, and we're ready to seize it together.
And Children's Health Defense has been at the forefront of this charge. Our 2025 conference brings together the leaders, visionaries, and warriors who made it happen.
Meet the parents whose lives were forever changed, and hear from doctors who risked everything to speak out. Stand with those who refused to be silenced.
You are going to hear from world-renowned speakers, doctors, and frontline leaders driving the medical freedom movement.
Discover real-world solutions grounded in science, integrity, and human rights.
Join the discussion to talk about vaccines, informed consent, parental rights, and so much more.
And you'll, of course, hear from your favourite CHD personalities, sharing the latest on CHD's research, litigation, and outreach.
And while you're there, soak up the energy, culture, and music of beautiful Austin, Texas.
Whether you're a parent, a practitioner, or a medical freedom advocate, this is your call to action to protect what matters most.
Be part of the movement that is rewriting the story for generations to come.
So please join us.
Join us.
Join us. Let's make history together in Austin.